I've been struggling the last few days with this difference between thinking about being an apprentice of Jesus or a disciple of Jesus. After Sunday service that you got ordained and we announced the transition of stuff, I had emailed one of the pastors I grew up studying under. They live in Arkansas. I think they still live in Arkansas. And one of them replied back and said, you know what, because they've been in the ministry as long as you and Dad had been and forever. And their response to me came back and says, you know what, to be a good leader and to be a good senior pastor or pastor, first and foremost, be an apprentice of Jesus. And I went, oh, okay. Well, aren't we already doing that as far as our interactions? We're supposed to love, joy, peace, patience, goodness. I all of a sudden can't think of the fruit of the Spirit all of a sudden, and I can normally quote that in my sleep. All the things that we're supposed to do of following Jesus and being disciples of Him and obeying and following rules and being a mirror image and all that, it's a little different when you think about the word apprentice. See, as an apprentice, if you're an apprentice with a company or whatever, you don't really get a whole lot of praise and glory. You don't get a whole lot of money flow in it either. You just show up and do work. And what you do is you understudy one particular master or skill set or professional. And what do you do to that person? You find that person and you follow right along with them, and you're going to end up being right up underneath their wing, and this is where you do. Where they walk, you walk. Where what they do, you do. And no matter what, it doesn't matter if you feel like it. If they move, you move. And I was sitting there thinking, going, an apprentice of Jesus. And I started thinking about everything that He had done. He called 12 to be an apprentice. He called 12 disciples out of their life. Come follow me. He didn't promise them anything. He didn't say it was going to be easy. Every one of those 12, backtrack, the 11 that stuck around, I'm not even counting Paul, the 11 that stuck around had it bad. I'm sure they didn't feel like it. But to be an apprentice of Jesus means that we're studying His Word. We're understanding what His Father said, because His Father stood there and said, Jesus, I need you to go down to the earth. I need you to train some people. Because we got to have some feet on the ground. And those disciples tucked up underneath Jesus' wing and watched and listened. But see, the thing that comes with being an apprentice is you learn by practical application. A disciple just tells you something, teaches you something, and expects you to go teach someone else. Not knocking discipleship. But an apprentice is at a different level. An apprentice means we're so in tuned. And I'm sitting there thinking this morning, in the midst of everything Jesus went through, He always gave glory and majesty back to His Father. He didn't take it for Himself. This morning we're singing songs about giving it back. About everything I've got in my hands, anything that I've been able to create. I was telling Sarah about Friday. We were sitting there talking. I said, man, I Friday night being able to add songs at the end on the fly took me back to the old days when I was back there in Austin's spot being the sound guy, and all of a sudden we take the list, and the list we didn't be in the back going, okay, that's a great list, but that's just not cutting it anymore. And we mixed on the fly. Whatever the Holy Spirit led, how it fit to, and Friday nights was kind of that same feel, but at some point you have to be okay with the unknown. You have to be so okay with, I don't know what it's going to look like. It's not going to mix perfectly. It's not going to blend perfectly. The keys are going to be different. The musicality is going to be different. But you've got to be okay with the unknown if you're going to be Jesus' apprentice, because He didn't tell the disciples anything. He said, follow me.